Could someone with dissociative identity disorder in Hunter x Hunter theoretically have new abilities and even a new affinity for each different personality? Let's talk about this fascinating question I got. All right, first of all, shout out to Dirty for the support, and y'all can pause to read this entire question, but let's tackle it in parts here. Starting with, could somebody with dissociative identity disorder have multiple nin abilities for each personality? And I think 100% absolutely, and there's basically even precedent for this in the series. Now, I know Kurapika doesn't have D.I.D, but I feel like his transformation from Conjurer to Specialist when he activates his Scarlet Eyes could be somewhat analogous to this D.I.D situation, because Kurapika can only use some of his abilities when he performs that transformation, right? So somebody with D.I.D swapping between personalities may also get access to new Hatsus, because we know that you are born with your nin affinity, but how you craft your nin and how you wield it and what Hatsu you decide to come up with is largely based on your personality, right? So even if we are starting from the same start line, if you will, different personalities may decide to use that in a different way. So I certainly think it's possible that they could all have their own unique sets of abilities. And I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility that we could literally see this in Hunter x Hunter, because Togashi has done this before in Yu Yu Hakusho with Shinsui, who had D.I.D, and he didn't get necessarily brand new abilities each time his personalities changed, but his fighting style absolutely changed. And the power system in Yu Yu Hakusho is a bit different than Hunter x Hunter. So I think if he did explore this again in Hunter x Hunter, that each one probably would have different Hatsus. And then for the second part of Dirty's question, could each of these personalities have their own unique nin affinity? And I would say no, with one small caveat, and we'll get to that. But I would say no because we know that everyone is born with one fixed nin type. So even if you have multiple personalities, you're still one physical entity, and that entity was born with a fixed nin type. So let's just say you're an enhancer, right? Each personality is going to be an enhancer. You're not going to switch between conjurer and then transmuter because you were born with the one, right? But the caveat to that is, just like Kurapika, we know that there are some rare exceptions where people can turn into specialists. So I think that could be true. And let's say your base identity is an enhancer, then other of the personalities could be specialists, I'd say. And then if we're talking about a specialist, they could basically focus anywhere, right? So in a way, you could have different personalities that could do like all of the other stuff, but they wouldn't literally be like an enhancer and then a transmuter and then a conjurer, etc., right? You could be enhancer and specialist, or whatever you want to start with, and then specialist, but not beyond that. And then Dirty had another question where he asks, I know that the enhancer category is mostly physical, but do you think someone could, say, enhance their potential or their affinity in other categories? Maybe use it in a way that's still enhancing, but not physically. And I certainly think that's on the table. I think that type of kind of outside the box thinking is something that Togashi would absolutely do, and we may even have seen an example of it. So I certainly think it's possible that you could enhance non-physical attributes with your nin, but just where the line on that is, I couldn't tell you. So could you enhance your potential, or could you enhance your luck or your brain chemistry, right? You know, to think faster or problem solve more efficiently. Like maybe somewhat equivalent to what Killua does with his lightning and his synapses, but not exactly that. I think that personally is a really cool idea, but I can't speak to whether or not that's literally possible in the canon. But something interesting to think about is Gene Freaks. So if you guys didn't see, last week I put out a video discussing what his nin affinity might be, because it's still a mystery. And one of the leading candidates, in my opinion, is that Gene is an enhancer. So if he was, and we don't know that he is, but if he was, it could be that he's using enhancement in an unconventional way, which is what allows him to be such a nin genius, right? The fact that he could just copy Leorio's ability from being hit with it once. Like maybe he has enhanced some of those non-physical attributes of his to become such a prodigy that we see. At the very least, we know that Komugi was an enhancer, so her genius strategy at Gungi was a direct result of her enhancing her brain. So I don't think it's a far leap to make to assume that you could enhance other non-physical attributes. Anyways, y'all, that's going to do it for this one. Shout out again to Dirty for the really interesting questions. I would love to hear y'all's thoughts in the comments down below. And fair warning, I think I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, so don't be surprised if I look like a completely different person. But anyways, y'all, thanks for watching.